Clara was a young woman living in a small town, known for her extraordinary skill in crafting glass sculptures. Her pieces were delicate, intricate, and almost alive in their beauty. But there was one problem. She never completed any of them. Every morning, she'd sit at her workshop, working meticulously on a piece, only to abandon it halfway. "It's not ready," she'd say, putting it aside. Her shelves were filled with half-formed roses, incomplete birds, and sculptures that seemed frozen in time. One day, Clara's old school friend Mia came to visit. Mia was practical, cheerful, and had always been Clara's opposite. She noticed the cluttered workshop and raised an eyebrow. "What's all this?" Clara sighed. "They're not good enough. I'll finish them when I'm sure they're perfect." Mia laughed. "Perfect? Clara, nothing in life is perfect. If you keep waiting for that, you'll never finish anything." Clara frowned. "But what if people don't like them? What if they judge me?" Mia put a comforting hand on Clara's shoulder. "Let me tell you something. Do you remember the little garden behind our school?" Clara nodded. "The one with the roses?" Mia smiled. "Exactly. Do you remember how some of the roses were crooked? Some had missing petals and others were small. But did that stop anyone from admiring the garden? Did that stop the bees from visiting them?" Clara chuckled softly. "No, I guess not." Mia leaned closer. "It's the same with your work. Imperfection doesn't mean failure. It means it's real. Finish something, Clara. Let people see it, flaws and all." After Mia left, Clara sat in her workshop, staring at an incomplete glass rose. It wasn't perfect. One petal was slightly uneven, and tiny air bubbles were trapped in the glass. She almost set it aside, but Mia's words lingered in her mind. Taking a deep breath, she decided to finish it. She worked late into the night, polishing the edges and shaping the final petal. When she was done, she held the rose up to the light. It wasn't flawless, but it was beautiful. The next day, Clara hesitantly placed the rose in the display window of her workshop. To her surprise, people stopped to admire it. A woman walked in and bought it immediately, saying, "It's so unique. I love how it feels. Alive." Clara felt a small flicker of pride. She started finishing more pieces, one by one. Each had its imperfections, but each also had its own charm. Over time, her workshop became a hub of creativity, and her work was celebrated for its authenticity. Years later, Clara looked back on that moment with Mia and smiled. If not for her friend's simple words, she might have spent her whole life chasing an impossible standard. Now she understood that beauty wasn't in perfection. It was in the courage to share your creations with the world. Waiting for perfection often means never starting or finishing. True growth comes when we embrace our imperfections and allow ourselves to be seen as we are, flaws and all. Thank you for watching this heartwarming story. If it inspired you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Together, let's spread positivity and inspiration.